Let's kick off then. So yesterday we saw how to create a gallery, how to create a form, how to update and how to create new records. So let me share my screen and we will start from that point only. So you will see some UI changes from my previous version and so I tried to make it look nice so that it's reusable by anyone who's downloading it. So what I've done, I've filled the navigation bar. Well, it was already filled. It's added a logo and added same fill color in the header, same as the nav bar, so that it gives like a L-shaped UI. So that's the first thing I changed. And then instead of filling my gallery headers, I just kept it white. So filled it white and changed the text colors and filled the gallery white as well. So that's the only change I did apart from this label addition here. But I think that you can do very easily now. So today we talked about that we will be creating our registration screen and allow security roles to, i.e. participants to register for the events which we are creating as an organizer. So right now you can see this is our basically our event screen. And just to show you who didn't attend yesterday, this is our form. We can give demo event 123, start date 9th, 10th, venue, online, description, testing, submit. So that will create our second record. Now I want to give here the effect of push, let's say. So it gives me this nice little effect when I hover. So view is working as expected and everything. And then I talked about we can just copy paste and this will allow us to use the same screen as our registration screen with little tweaks, obviously. So for now, what we will do is we'll create a new screen. I have a new screen, but that I think is the demo one. Yeah. Let's first rename this screen as our events, event management. Event management. We'll add a new screen quickly, blank. And that blank screen will become our registration screen. Registration management. All right. So this is the whole page, which so the whole screen, right? So what we can do is we can just copy the whole thing, come here and paste it. We could have duplicated as well. So that should give us our registration management screen. Now we will start tweaking the same screen as okay, it actually duplicated. Okay, so we'll just rename this one as this. Okay, we need to delete this one first. All right, so that's renamed. All right, perfect. So now what we will change is first is this. So event management. Instead of hard coding event management, what we can do is we can actually give it dynamically. So you can see event management. So it actually allows us to use our whatever renaming we are doing here, that will be reflected on the screen automatically. So that dynamic screen name we can use instead of hard coding our name. And we'll change this one as registration highlight. We'll rename our button as well as, wait, I clicked F10. Um, we'll just do resistor. All right, filters remains as it is. All these remains as it is. Now, how we will come now in Power Apps, screen creation doesn't mean anything as long as you don't have any way to come onto that screen, right? So for now, what we will do is we will give a navigation function for this button, the recycle one, which is very bad for registration. So we'll quickly change this to something like, all right, let's do a save copy one. Yeah. So we'll go to on select of this, and we will use a navigate function. We'll go to registration management, and that will allow us. And I'll give this one as navigate to event management, right? So you can see, and I will give the same function here as well. I'll talk about component library and how we can avoid doing this redundant code the last. So you can take that as an action and try to implement it. This will be my registration management. And you can see I can go back here, come here. Let's add some transitions as well. So it, it's not as boring as it looks like right now. Let's say transition fade. Well, doesn't really look, I added a transition. Let's try cover. I can play around. Yeah, better. So these transitions you can add as well. Now, the main thing which we need to change is our gallery and the columns we are displaying. So let's quickly see how many columns we have in our registrations table. Okay, so we have event ID, attendee ID, and registration status. Do you have anything else? No. So we have 3 columns which we need to change in our even in our registration highlight screen. So first thing is this one. So let's first change our filter code from events to registration. All right. Let me just first add it. So this happened for as well. So first we need to add the registrations table in our application. Registration, we add registrations. Now status should be coming from registrations. Perfect. So that will do the job. Now the errors, we need to solve it. Event title is not recognized because obviously it's not there. So first we will do event ID dot event title, for which event this registration happened actually. Okay, and then we will do yeah. So first this, and then we will do this item dot attendee ID dot full name. All right. So how many of you never used Dataverse or lookup type columns? A thumbs up that you didn't use it before would be nice.
I haven't used.
Okay. Anyone else? Guess not. Okay. So So basically, when we talked about foreign key and primary key, right? So the event ID and the attendee ID, both are foreign keys, right? So in Dataverse, you can access the columns of your parent table by dot notation. So we talked up until now, we were using dot notation to access the column of the gallery data source, i.e. the table against which we have linked this gallery. Now we are using another dot notation. So now how to read this is this item dot attendee ID is my lookup column in my registrations table. So you can see this one. Now attendee ID doesn't really give me anything. So if I link myself here, and attendee ID will give me, let me just refresh so I can show you. And let me quickly give attendee ID dot full name. So now attendee ID gives me the access to the record where I have linked this record. So i.e. I have linked myself, i.e. my record coming from users table to this registration record, right? So now Dataverse allows us to access all the columns from the parent table via the dot notation. So if I do dot again, just to show you, you can see all these columns from my users table are now accessible to me. That's why I can use the full name coming from my users table itself. So that's the beauty of Dataverse. This is not allowed in SharePoint. SharePoint, you have to do lookups and everything. That's why it's not as powerful as Dataverse. So you can see my name is coming nicely here as well. Then we have registration status. So before that, let's quickly delete couple of these because we don't need all of them. So let's delete this one and this one. And this we will use this item dot registration status. And we will give registration status as, let's say, registered. Okay, so it shows us registered here. Let's just refresh and registered. All these metadata columns would remain as it is. We deleted this one, so let's delete this one, let's delete this one, and all these ones will remain as it is. So yeah, so this batch one we need to change to registrations. We'll change status registrations, and that should solve the problem. Great. So now you can see we have two icons here, and our gallery Can you guys hear me again?
Yes.
Okay, I think I lost connection there for a second. Okay, if you can hear me, that's nice. So now let's get started. So you have yeah. So now we have a gallery ready for our registrations usage. So we'll just change this to attendee name. We'll change this to status. Created by will remain as it is. Created on will remain as it is, as it is, as it is. Great. So now you can see we have a full-fledged gallery ready for your use. So as long as you have one gallery which you can use, which is completely built, you can reuse it by just copy pasting it. So it becomes easier for you to create a gallery. Right. So now we have our registration screen. Now what we need to do is we need to have uh, our registration form. So this form is basically linked with our events table. So we need to change this to registrations. Register, or we can say register for event. All right, so we'll change the form now. So our form, yeah, so our form is linked to events. We'll change this to registrations. The classic form, doing this was a headache because the data cards and everything, you have loads of errors, you have to delete them and re-add them. But with the new form, it's quite easy because you're just selecting a couple of fields, adding them. So let's just wait till it replace my cards, and there we go. Perfect. So we'll delete name because it's automatically managed by Dataverse. We will have, okay, we'll delete this as well. Don't need this, don't need this, and don't need this as well. We'll add a field called attendee ID and event ID. That's all I need. And we will reorder. So first is event ID, for which event you are planning to register yourself, attendee ID, and registration status will be read only because automatically the moment you submit, the registration status will become registered. So what we will do is we will change the display mode from, okay, yeah. So by default, you see this lock icon here, it's locked. You can't make any changes. You need to come to the advanced panel and unlock the change properties. Then you can actually uh, change it. Instead of parent.display mode, we will say display mode dot view only, always. And so you have selected event. Okay, yeah, this we need to change. So this is our form, and as and when we add columns, you can add it here because there is a lot of white space, or you can move or reduce the height of this by coming here, changing flexible height, and just manually giving something, let's say 300. That will reduce it. Then you have this one as well, flexible height, move it. These will be moved to the top. But I like to keep my UI consistent so that I don't have to worry about these little changes every time. So it's consistent. Right, so yeah, I have, you can see all my events are there. And yesterday we made a change, right? So delete functionality, and we didn't do hard delete, we did soft delete. So you can see demo event 1 and demo event 2 is also available in the combo box, which we don't want because technically these are deleted. So what we can do is, for now, I'll just remove and comment this out. Yeah. So now what we need to do is, so you can see how we have registrations.event ID choices column, which comes out of the out of the box. But what we need is filter events and status of events should, or I would say must be active. Ah, damn it. Okay, status column equals to status active. right? So now only two are visible, which should be the case, right? So demo event 1, 2, 3, power apps, this attendees, you have loads of attendees and out of the box records in your users table. But what you can do is you can use couple of out of the box columns to identify what are the actual named accounts which should be visible in this dropdown. Because let's be honest, no user wants to see these out of the box service account columns in your combo box, right? So let's quickly head back to our users table, and we'll try to identify if we can combine couple of columns to filter our users table with the actual named accounts only, i.e. my account, and there is one service account as well. So in the past I have used enabled column. So let's just quickly add all of them, and let's sort by full name if I can find it. There are so many columns in here. Yeah, full name. So let's do Z to A, now A to Z. Okay, so you can see my name is there, and do I have any particular license type is there, which is enterprise. I have my mobile number, which is a mandatory field in my Active Directory, and I have there must be a Boolean column which says enabled. I have my primary email. I have a primary email as approved. Yes, you see status. So you can see status is enabled, enter user, yeah, and user licensed. So this one you can see this is the only boolean which is set to yes in against my name, and all of them are false because only licensed user, technically only licensed user should be able to access the app. Otherwise, there is no point of accessing the app. So we can use this user licensed boolean to actually filter out all these rubbish accounts which comes out of the box. So let's try to add that filter in and see if we can reduce the number of records available in this combo box. Users and user licensed should be user licensed users dot yes. And let's see if that does magic. Yes, it does. So you can see only Akshan Sharma is now visible because I'm the only one with a license, with the proper license. So that's what we wanted because I'm the only one in this tenant. That's my personal one. That's why you can see Akshan Sharma is now only record becoming showing here. So if I want to register myself, let's say this one, registration status is view only. So let's quickly do a default. So what we will do is we will check if form 1_1 dot mode is equals to form mode dot new. Then what we want is registration status. No, not this one. Yeah, this one. Registration status dot registered. Else we want parent dot default, whatever that is. What it doesn't like. Okay. It doesn't like argument type mismatch. Must agree for the first result document. So form mode is equals to form mode dot new dot registered else parent dot default. Okay, it doesn't like that I'm using parent dot default with parent dot default should have been the same one. Okay. Let's quickly check what's the parent dot default. This item dot registration status. Yeah, that's right. So okay, let's see. Okay, for now, let's just keep it static to registered because that's what we want. Okay, that was the reason. That was the reason. Ah, okay, that was the reason. Fine. All right, perfect. So you can see I've done this, and I have my registered event as well. All right, perfect. So now what we need to do is change our submit code slightly, tweak with our values, and that should do the job for our new creation and everything. So let's see. So we have event title. We don't want any of these. What we want is event. Okay. First, I need to change this. So patch registrations and look up registrations where registrations is equals to g where selected dot. Okay. Yeah. So this one I need to remove, and for now I'll just do a grid. Now what we need to do is event ID. Now event ID should be the same as this combo box dot selected. So data card value 11. Let's come back to this one. Dot selected. Second, what I need to do is attendee ID. Attendee ID is this one. Copy, come here, paste dot selected. And the last one is our registration status. So copy, come here, and we will change this to registration. Status should be this dot selected dot value. Format text. Now the only difference between event ID, attendee ID, and registration status is dot value. So dot value, you have to remember, I talked yesterday, I told you the level of understanding you need to have in Power Apps. So event ID is a lookup column, right? Sorry, is foreign key kind of a thing. So it's expecting a record. A record means in your table you have multiple rows, so it's expecting a row, right? So if we see here, so you see data type record, so it matches with the data type of your event ID. That's why you are able to do this. And same for attendee ID as well, right? So it's expecting a record or a row for it to have store the reference. That's why you need to give the dot selected, not dot selected dot value. Otherwise, it will throw you an error. But with the registration status, it is a choice column. So it's expecting a particular choice instead of a table or a record. So if I remove this dot value, why this is throwing an error? Because it's saying that it mismatches with the data type of your column. That's what it's saying here. right? So it says found type record. That's why you can see here. So what we need to do is give value and typecast from record to a particular value, whatever the value is, will be a text. So that is something you need to understand when you are trying to learn Power Apps. That is the level of understanding you should have. It will become very easy if you have that kind of understanding to code your Power App. So you can see I missed here. So default should be registrations, right? Registrations, perfect. And that should do the job. So if I am registering for this event and registered, I'll quickly submit, and you can see a new record becomes available in my gallery under registrations. So I've been able to register as well. Registration status is registered, name, when it was created, last modified on, and everything. Now, what we need to change is this one. So instead of selected event, what we need to do is we will do selected registration, and we will use the same one in our forms page. So we will change this to new is fine. Item will give this one, and that should do the job. So event ID, that's what I clicked. Let me click again. Let's click the below one. You can see Bootcamp's Power App. I can right. So I shouldn't be able to now. You see, now we are talking about validations. So we have this record, right? And this is registered under Bootcamp for Power Apps. If I open this, generally you should not be able to change the event ID itself, which is kind of bad because you wouldn't want your users to change the registration from one event to another event and the attendee name as well. So it depends. If you want to allow attendee name to be someone else, you can, but event ID should not be changed to something else. So what we need to do is we need to check if the form mode is basically edit or anything apart from new. It can be view as well and anything. So what we need to check is if form mode is not new, then this should be view only. You should not allow users to modify the event selection. So we'll change it here. So if I come back, what we will check is if form1 underscore 1 dot mode is equals to form mode dot new. Now we will negate this condition by an exclamation mark. This basically means reverse of your condition. If it is not new, then what we need is a static display mode dot view, else display mode dot edit. So now it won't allow me to change my selection, and in edit mode, this should allow me to register, right? So the same condition which we have given here, we need to give on registrations display mode, but what we need to change is instead of view, this will be editable, else it would be view. So if I want to change my selection, it should be edit. Right. So this is true, so it should be editable. Okay, it is editable. Now let me check the items property. Am I getting both the options? I am. Okay. One. Okay. Okay, it doesn't allow me to edit. It's oh, this is view only. Wow. Okay. The whole data card is view only. Edit. That's not the problem. All right. So what we have just seen. So my parent. Yesterday we saw parent-child hierarchy in tree view. So similarly, the same parent-child hierarchy is there in your data cards as well, in your form as well. So we were trying to change your child mode, but the parent mode itself was viewed. So whatever changes you're doing at the child level, it doesn't reflect because your parent changes or your parent mode property takes precedence. That's why it was not allowing us to do anything. So for now, let's just change the mode with our property. So that should be editable, else it should be view only. Display mode dot view. All right, perfect. So now I can actually cancel my registration and save it without changing this. I can change attendee ID. I can change my registration status. So let's just change this to cancelled. And the edit mode, we need to change coming here. Instead of quit, the variable we have set is this one, dot registrations. Now that will allow us to cancel our registration and submit it. So if I do this, so you can see registration status cancelled. Now, if it is cancelled, I need to change the display mode of these two icons. So the first one is this one. And if we will check self basically is equivalent to this item. So if you generally like self, so if you want to refer the same record items, that is your icon or delete, self dot column name is registration status. Oh, sorry. Self basically, my bad. Sorry. Self is a function which allows you to access the same component, i.e. I've selected eye icon. So right. So I can access all the properties of eye icon with the self function. But in this case, I want to access this item, i.e. gallery item dot registration status. So I have to use registrations. Registration status. If registration status is equals to cancelled, this should be disabled. Else edit. So you can see now it became disabled, the eye icon. Same for my delete icon as well. Right. So you can see if it is cancelled, this would be that. Now let's add some color coding on our status. So my font color should be red if it is cancelled, right? So if it is cancelled, then what I want is color dot red. Ooh, I can see it is color dot red. Else what I want is color dot green. You can see. So if it is registered, it will be green. If it is cancelled, it will be red. Now we have our full-fledged registrations screen. Now let's add some security model aspect, security roles aspect, so that this icon, this little icon here will only be visible to participants. Sorry, yes, only participants, and this home icon, i.e. your events, highlights, and event management will only be visible to your admins or organizers, right? So let's head back to our roles table and we will quickly create a role name. So in our very first session, we talked about two security roles which we had to add. So the first one was organizer, organizer, and the second one was participant. Okay, participant. So then I have two roles. Now the user is myself. Okay, so what we will do is I will add myself as a participant and reflect and tackle my role in my Power App front end side. So for now, what we will do is filter this with our user enabled Boolean variable, which is user license. Sorry, yes. So edit column, not edit, sorry. Filter by equals yes, and that will give me only one record myself. So we want to have a user role in my user role table. So user role will have one, which is your role, but I need to have one more lookup column. So we'll create a new column in our user role table. We will name that column as user ID. User ID will be of my lookup type. This will be users table, user ID, optional, fine, done. And then we need to have a role ID so that we know that, okay, this user has this role, because one user can have both participant and organizer, and let's say an admin role as well, if um, we had to create that role at some point. Okay, perfect. So we have user ID. Now what we need to do is create a role ID. That will again be a lookup. Related table will be roles. Roles, save. And now what we need is this name column is not necessary because it doesn't really matter if it is there or not. So what we will do, we'll change this to auto number, just like we did with another table. And we'll prefix this with user role, and seed value will be 100, minimum value will be 3, and save. Now what we will do really quickly, we will have one user added as it didn't reflect the change I made. Okay, yeah. So let's add Shan Sharma. User role will be participant, and that's what we will tackle in our Power App. We'll check what is the role of the current user. So let's head back to our Power App. We will add user role in our application, user underscore roles. We have added this. Now let's go to on start of the app. And what we will do is we will set one variable where user role. And what we will do is look up our user roles table where user ID, user ID dot uh, user ID dot your enter object ID is equals to user function dot enter object ID. And what we need to fetch is role role ID dot name, and that will set my variable. So now what this will fetch. So let's quickly run on start, and that will set my variable with blank. Okay, was not expecting blank. Okay, it does give me participant. Okay, so this is giving me participant. Why this is blank and on start? Okay, so this way I can use the gvar user role and check if the user is part of what role. And as long as this is not admin, that's fine. Okay, it should be participant because my lookup is giving me participant. You can see here, which is expected. And that should be stored in my gvar user role, but for some reason it's blank. All right, anyways, we'll see with proper running. But that's what we need to check if it is not participant, right? So because participant should not be able to see this home icon, right? So what we need to do is now we have clicked this now visible. So right now you can see visible is set to true. What we need to do is we need to check if gvar user role is equals to participant and negate this again, just like we have done that. This time I'll show you the not function instead of exclamation. So not is equals to the exclamation. So if the user role is not equals to participant, then only you need to set this as visible, else it should be false. Okay, right now our gvar user role is blank. That's why it's not appearing, but we'll publish this and play this, and that should solve this. Now, so now only participants can see my home icon, i.e. event highlights, and organizers will be able to see both. Then now I'll show you another property, which is start screen. So which screen should be the first screen visible, right? So we need to give first one should be our registration screen, registration management screen. So it starts from registration management basically. Okay, and let's refresh our user roles table once. Turn on start, and now it's reflecting. Now you can see the home icon is gone now, And if I do run on start, so if I am here, yeah, we missed it here. So that's kind of problematic. Okay, let's copy paste the same visible condition from this home icon and paste it here as well. So they cannot go to that screen as well. So now you can see this. And we need to change the icon as well. So registration container. This should be the +1, which we are using on the other screen. Yeah, perfect. So that should do the job. So there is no way now we can go back to the home screen because I'm a participant. I am not an admin or an organizer, right? So that's how we tackle the security model. So only one screen is visible. Now, the moment I change my role from participant to organizer and I save this, I'll come here, I'll refresh my table. So that is my user role table. I refresh this and I'll quickly click run on start. The moment I click run on start, you can see my home icon is now available and I can go back to the event highlight screen. So that way we can tackle the our security model. Right now, the final bit which I wanted to add as a feature to this Power App was filters. So we have the filters button. Now we haven't added anything which is like actually filterable, right? So what we can do is we will use the same pop-up, but different variable. Okay, so we'll copy this one, add here. Now show events form, add form. We will do show filters. If I give show filters as true, okay, and our pop-up container is this one, and the visibility is set to this, or now this will be this as well. Okay, let's go to our pop-up. We'll give an or condition. So or condition this, and moment we click filters, now add event is available. So in our pop-up container, this is our form container, I guess. Yeah, that's our form container. As you can see, add new, this is this cross, everything. So what we need to do is we need to hide this container and this container if I am coming from the filters icon, or basically that one, right? So your filter icon is, so we need to give this or hide this, right? So we need to give, instead of true, we need to use both the variables which are present on the visible of this. Copy, we come here, we'll paste, and we will say, so this should definitely be true, right? And this should not be true. And this should be together as a condition. This should happen if we want to keep our form visible, right? So show event form and the filters should not be visible. Same condition should go on this container as well. Now we have a clean pop-up where we can use this. So what we can do is quickly add a similar container, which is a vertical one in this. Let's add a vertical container. vertical container, and we will add one horizontal container. Horizontal container, and inside the horizontal container we will be adding one label and one combo box or start date and date one, right? So we will add one text, and we will add, let's say, one date picker. What else we have? We have what all columns are there in our events table? So we have okay, so we have event title, we have start date, end date, and venue. Okay. All right. So let's add two filters, one for event title and one for venue. Okay. So we have added this one, and for event title, we will give demo event one. We'll give one more text box itself, and we'll add one more horizontal container, and we will add one text box and one combo box. Right. So you can see now I have two of them. This should definitely be flexible. Flexible width. So it takes 50% of the screen. Don't want flexible height. Don't want flexible height. Enter. All right. So this will be my description, would be event title, and this will be my venue, and actually this won't be a text. This will be input. So this will be text input. All right. Right. And placeholder text, we will give search event title, search event title, and venue vertical align middle. Perfect. So now we have proper now this will be okay. Doesn't look really nice and all. So let's quickly reduce this to 100. And this combo box, what we will do is quickly spell width. Yeah. So this combo box will be linked with our venue distinct items, right? So we'll give distinct, source would be our events, and we will give venue. So it gives us all the different venues available. And the only thing is, you can see online, I have one with capital O with one with small o. So that's the risk if you are using a text box with users able to enter something, whatever they feel is right. So it's better to use always like choice columns, so it's easier for you to maintain consistency. So user cannot do this capital or small O thing, and they will always use a consistent selection which comes from the drop down itself, right? Now we will quickly do. Right, so now what we will do is whatever we type here, that should filter our background table, and whatever we select here, that should filter down our background table. So what we will do is we'll quickly close this one, and we'll set our show filters false as well. Now to filter it out, what we need to do is just add another filter, just like status. What we will be doing is we will add another filter saying we will be using search event events, and we need to search an event title with what text. That will be our filter text. So that filter text is text input canvas one, text input canvas one dot value. Oh, yeah, starts with, sorry, my bad. Starts with starts with event title and text input one. Perfect. So the reason I'm not using search is because search is not delegable with Dataverse. We talked about delegation, right? So functions which can shift the code from front end to back end, right? So that's why I'm not using search. I am using starts with, so that you can use delegable filters instead of non-delegable filters. So starts with event title text input canvas one dot value. Now the next thing which I want to filter down is on venue. So venue again is, so starts with venue, and the selection which I want to search against is combobox.one dot selected dot value, and that will filter my gallery. But what I need to pass at the same time, so you can see right now nothing is visible in my gallery. Why? Because you need to give a blank condition with starts with as well, so that it allows you to filter to show all items whenever your text input one dot value is actually a blank value, which is the case right now, right? So that's why we need to give a blank check here, so that it allows us to see all the records whenever your filter criteria is blank. So now you can see both of them are now visible. Okay, so let's try and filter it out with some of our values. So let's click filter. Let's add event title as bootcamp. Okay, for some reason it's not showing up. Okay, yeah, that is working. Online, I have two of them. Online events have none, and I have two of them here as well. So both of them are online. That's why it filters. But search is not working for some reason. Oh, now it is working. Okay, so let's try boot. Yeah, now you can see. So I searched for boot and online. So I have these this one record only, so it becomes available. Okay, so that is how you filter. I've added two of them. You can take this exercise home and you can add the remaining filters just like we have added this one. So let's do reset of our text input canvas one on close of our filters panel, and we will do a reset of our combo box canvas one as well, so that whenever we open it again, it will be a new complete fresh selection. Perfect. So that's how you can add filters. Similarly, you can add filters on your registration highlight screen as well, and you can use the same way on that screen as well. So I think we have created pretty much a fully functional app with two screens. Now I'll show you how you can use pipelines to actually push this to your production environment or UAT environment. So So whenever you are doing something, once you have done with your changes, what you can do is click on this drop down here, always save with version notes to your initials, so that if multiple users are adding or modifying these changes, you can do this. Create two different screens and filter feature. Save, and we'll publish this as well, and we'll create our pipeline. All right, so this is published. Let's close the application. And we have our solution. Now, what we will do is event management app. We'll open this. We will go to pipelines tab, and you can see I have my test pipeline created, right? So the test pipeline I have two different stages, which is one for dev to UAT, and you can see the environment name where it is linked. That is Akshansh UAT, and then it is going to prod, which is my pipeline hosting, which is just for the demo purpose. So if you want to deploy your application, you can click deploy here, and now, and it will deploy your solution. So you don't have to do a manual import, export, and everything. So you can click next, and it will check if you have any connection references, if you have any environment variables which it needs to update before it actually push your solution to your UAT environment. So it's checking that. And if you haven't seen my pipelines video, if you want to look at how you can set this up, you can check my YouTube channel, and you can look at that pipeline setup. But just to give you a high level idea how this has been set up, so basically I have my one dedicated environment where you install a dynamics solution called Power Platform Pipelines via your admin center. And you go to your admin center, open your environment, go to resources, Dynamics 365 apps, and click on install app. And at the bottom, you will find the pipelines app, but I have already installed it, so it will be visible here. So Power Platform Pipelines, you install this solution, and by installing it, you will have this under your environment. So under apps, you can see deployment pipeline configuration. You play it, and you can link your dev and target environments under the environments tab. The moment you do that, you can create your pipeline with stages and everything, which will allow you to use the pipeline in your dev environment, just like I showed you. So test pipeline, if I show you this application, so under pipelines, you will find this test pipeline. So I created this so that I can push my solution from dev to UAT. It's still validating my solution, checking dependencies and everything. But that's how you can create a full-fledged application which you can have. See, it's validated, generated something, something. Then I will click deploy. By default, it will always create like a managed version in your UAT or your production environment, which is a best practice as well. Now, the difference between managed and unmanaged solution. So in under managed solution, you can't make changes. So you can't edit your Canvas app. You can't save changes in your flows. Now, the only way to do that would be to create unmanaged layer, i.e. a different version on top of your managed solution. So that is not a good practice. So refrain from doing it, and by default, keep your managed solution layers without any unmanaged layers. So that's how we push the solution. So you can see it's currently exporting my version. I have added approval process as well, so it won't directly push my solution. I will receive a pop-up notification and an email saying it requires my approval to push this new solution to my UAT environment as well. So you can establish a full-fledged governance process. Your admins can do that as well. So yeah, that was so this when this is done, I will have a fully functional application, and you can see your request is to deploy here is pending. I can cancel the deployment in a couple of seconds. I will receive the notification as well to approve the request. Let me check my Teams once. Yeah, Teams. Haven't received it. Yeah, I am now. So you can see Akshan Sharma sent you a request for approval process for approval of your publishing. So you can see approval needed. This is a template, but yeah, you can use any of your app name in instead of this placeholder, and you can add this. So for now, I'll click approve, approved, submit, and the action is now successfully completed. And if I come back here, this yellow label will be gone and it started deploying. So that's your proper governance approval process with your pipelines so that your admins can actually um, monitor who is deploying, when this is being deployed, and when you can write your comments, your deployment notes, and everything. So imagine you have 59 versions of your solution which you have to manually export and manually import. I would cry myself out. Been there when Power Platform pipelines were not there, but yeah, it is painful when you have to export and import that many number of times. So with pipelines, it is very easy. With bunch of clicks, it will be deployed. You can have approval process, so your team lead, your admins can actually approve your deployment, and any junior can request that deployment. Until and unless it is approved, it won't be deployed. So yeah, that's how you can deploy as well. As I said, if you want to see how to set up pipelines and how to add the delegation process and everything, you can check the YouTube channel. I have a video there, and you don't have to create the flows for approval as well. So I have a readily available template on my GitHub library, GitHub repo. So you can download the solution from there and just use it. So you can see delegated deployment. This solution is used for approval process. I have error handling template as well for your Power Automate, and I have Power Platform pipelines approval template as well. So if you want to add just the approval process, just download this zip file, and you will be able to use the approval process shown in my video. So I'll just pin this so that anyone who wants to refer this, they can. So yeah, I'm waiting for this to be deployed, but once this is deployed, there's nothing else we have to do. Just use it, give you access to your pipeline users, sorry, UAT users, and that will give them access to use the application. So any questions up until here, which something was not clear, you were not able to understand anything? None? No questions? Okay. All right. I'll take that as no. Great. So thank you very much for joining. So whoever dropped, anyway, I've recorded the session. I'll upload it. So if you want to refer something, any particular step back, the recording will be available on my YouTube channel. So you can refer it from there. You will receive when it is available, notifications and everything. So you can refer it. But thank you very much for joining. Hope the session was useful. You learned something, and now you'll be able to understand best practice a little better and Power Apps a little better as well.
Thank you so much for this 3-day boot camp.
Yeah, thank you, Aksansh, for the session. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you. Hopefully, I'll arrange for Power Automate something similar and other technologies as well. So stay tuned, I guess. All right. Thank you both.
Yep.
Thank you. Have a nice
Yep.
day.
Yeah,
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye.